Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I know it's been quite a while. Welcome back, welcome if you're new. I'm Charlene, also known as Wonky Studio. Today I want to share with you these cute little cardboard cutouts, and I want to go through my process of how I made them, and I hope you enjoy. I have went through the art studio and gathered all of the supplies that I feel I'm going to need to make these little cute wall hanging taxidermy-esque creations. And the things that I think that I'm going to need are definitely paintbrushes. These are just a bunch of like really old ones. They don't need to be fancy because we are just going to use cheap craft paint. So I did go ahead and grab a few of my favorite colors. Of course, if we're going to use paint, definitely going to need a cup for water and some paper towel for blotting. And then for constructing our bases and our characters, I did go ahead and collect a bunch of cardboard from packaging and from boxes from the mail. Also, I grabbed a pair of scissors and an X-Acto knife to cut my cardboard. I'm not sure which one I will use yet. I probably will lean towards the scissors just because it's easier to handle. It's personal preference. I did also grab some printer paper if I want to make any templates or that kind of a thing. I don't know that I'll do that because I do want these to be more on like the free-handed wonky side. I did also grab some color pencils that I know can be covered by the acrylic paint, so I didn't want to use like a black permanent marker just in case it were to show through. I might use more of a darker color when I'm wanting to draw or add like the facial features so they can kind of see it through the paint. But for the things that I want to hide, I'm just going to use a colored pencil that will blend in well. And I also grabbed my sketchbook so that I can maybe rough out some ideas of things that I want to do. I did already do that with some characters and some shapes of the frames that I want to make. And I kind of went through a few more ideas of how I want to do the backgrounds and that kind of thing. So definitely have fun with this and play with this. I'm really excited. I want to do 5 of them, but I think that I'm going to cut out more than 5 of them. So yeah, I am going to get started on that, and I will meet you back here shortly. With all of my frames cut here, I think I have a total of 9 of them. This is just some scrap. I mentioned I want to do 5, and I don't know if I will do more than 5 because I do like a lot of these characters that I drew out. Let's see. I know for sure that I want to do the cat, so I definitely have to do Luna. I am really loving this little snail. What is on my color pencil? There's something on there. It's making it not right. Okay, there we go. I definitely want to do the snail. I'm thinking the bat. That's what, 3. I really like the turtle. I don't know how I would do the turtle. Like, would I do the side view or would I do it from the front? I'm not sure yet on that one. So that's 4. I do want it. I really like the ladybug. I do like the fish. Now we're getting crazy. Okay. Maybe I'll end up doing all of them. I don't draw bunnies very often. I generally only draw bunnies as bunny slippers. But maybe I could do one because I do have these wide ones. What if I did a pair of bunny slippers? That would be kind of cute, right? So we'll put a question mark. And the snake, I don't know. I kind of want to do the lion. Let's just stick with what we have. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and possibly bunny slippers. These wider ones I did create to possibly do 2 characters on one, but then their little heads would be very small. So So we'll see how we go. I am going to just sketch out these little characters on some cardboard to get ready to cut out. I have finished cutting out all of my pieces. I'm for the most part happy with them. Here I have the ladybug, I have the cat, the bat, the turtle, which I changed from in my sketch here. I had did it from a side view and I changed it to a front view. And then I have the snail and a little fish in a fishbowl. If I'm being honest, I like them all except the snail. I don't like how big the snail is, so I might still just make it because I have it already cut out, but since these ones are all kind of on the smaller scale compared to the snail, I do kind of want to remake it into this smaller square so they kind of go together a little better. So I may or may not do that still. Yeah, I just don't like how big that snail is. I did also go ahead and keep a bunch of my scraps because I do know that I'm going to want to add elements down the road because I've decided that in the background I'm going to do like environments, like not outside environments, maybe outside environments, I don't really know, but I was thinking like what it would look like in the houses that they live in. And I love to do wallpaper when I doodle the environments for my little characters' houses. So I was thinking it would be cute to, like, say if they had like strawberry wallpaper, I could cut out little strawberries to just add a little bit of dimension. Also for like the nose of the cat to add another layer of dimension for that. Same with like the spots on the ladybug and then the little teeth on the bat and maybe the little water bubbles could be, you know, a textural element, stuff like that. Another thing I was thinking, which might be a little too like extra for the frames, I like the size of these and some of them don't fit extremely well into the like area, like they're really big and kind of close to the edge. I was originally just going to paint like the frames, but I also thought it would be cute to like add a frame. So I may or may not try to find some bigger pieces of cardboard around the house, which I think that I have. I have endless supply of cardboard because every time we get some, I hoard it like they're gonna stop making it. But I might make the frames a little bit bigger and add those over the top to also give another dimensional element. But when I get into the painting, I've also now decided that, of course, like my base is going to be acrylic paint, but if I was deserted on a desert island, the one supply that I would have with me and be okay using for the rest of my life would be colored pencils. So I'm going to use the acrylic paint for like my base color, and then I'm going to use my color pencils to go ahead and add shading and detail and just like messy like imperfectionness to kind of give it some charm and whimsy. So I'm going to take a little break. My hand is really hurting. I had to put a band-aid on it from cutting all these pieces. So I do want to redo the snail, but my hand just needs a break, and I will meet you guys back here after I redo the snail and we can start hopefully painting. I did redo the snail so that it is more uniform with the rest of them. I am still not sure if I'm going to actually complete this big one. I mean, if I have the paint out and everything, I probably should. Maybe this will be like a giveaway item or something down the road. That might be a cute idea, and then I'll just mail it to somebody. So I probably will finish it. And then I did go ahead and find some more cardboard, and I started making some frames. I think the only other one that is appropriate for a frame, like space-wise, because I feel like the bat's pretty tight around the edge, the turtle's pretty tight around the edge. Same with the snail. So I will probably do the cat as another border just so I have like 3 and 3, and then I can kind of mix and match them when I hang them on the wall and just to give it some variety. So I am going to go ahead and get the last frame cut. I'm also going to erase some of these blue color pencil lines because when I was testing on my template paper for the snail, I used this blue color pencil and the acrylic paint. I had to use 3 coats to cover it, so I'm going to kind of clean up some of those edges. And then we're going to get into sketching out our backgrounds and actually putting paint. That's the most exciting part. Now that I have everything cut how I like it, I am going to put base colors on everything before I start drawing in any small details. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint everything. It's going to possibly look a little weird because, you know, like there aren't going to be any definition of like details or anything like that. I have finished painting all of my pieces. I did 2 coats on each of them. I did make some frames like we had talked about. Honestly, I don't know that I'm going to use the frames. I'm not a huge fan of them. So I think I'm going to leave them off and maybe just draw frames. And I was also thinking about making 3-dimensional elements such as like the nose on the cat and like bubbles for the fish and the ladybug and the bat. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to draw them or use paint markers for that. So I'm a little nervous moving forward if I'm being honest, but I'm going to trust the process. I did go ahead and grab some of my paint markers. I have just like a variety of brands and colors here in this bag. And then I also grabbed my color pencils. So again, it's mostly Prismacolors. I have a couple other brands thrown in as well. And I am just going to start freehand sketching all of the details and the frames and all of that. And I'm just going to trust that they turn out cute. I am very nervous, so let's just trust the process and go with the flow. I am all done with the background of the cat one. I have also completed my cat face. I feel like this turned out way better than I expected. I love the way that I chose to do them, where I used the paint marker as, you know, kind of like a base on some of the elements, and then I went over it with color pencil. And then I also pulled out my Neocolor 2s, the crayons, to kind of make it look more like a hand-drawn look. The only downside that I can see of using the Neocolor 2s is if I want to seal this, I'm not going to be able to use like a paint on varnish. It's going to have to be a spray varnish. And I am so glad that I painted on this little border instead of using this cardboard border. I just feel like that's way too much, and I think this just gives it, I don't know, a little more charm. I didn't have a acrylic paint marker in brown, so I just hand drew that on there, and I tried to find a crayon or a colored pencil to kind of add some texture. Couldn't find one that I really liked, so I'm just leaving it as like this really rough coated frame. This is so cute. I don't know if you're able to see it very well, but this is the up close. I'm so happy with this. I'm going to continue on with the rest of them. I was debating if I should use like tacky glue or if I should use hot glue. I'm not sure. I did grab both out of my stash. I mean, I think for quickness, the hot glue is going to be the best option, but for longevity, I think the tacky glue would be a better option. And then as far as the hanging element, wasn't sure if I was going to do like ribbon off the top, but what I decided on doing is I went grocery shopping earlier today and I grabbed the twisty ties from the fruit section, and I think I'm just going to use these on the back to create like a hanging element. So I have to work on fixing those to the back as well, but oh my gosh, I am so excited to finish these now because this one turned out so cute. I'm hoping this isn't a situation where I'm like, okay, the first one's amazing and then the rest are duds. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep working on these. I'm so excited now. Now that all of these little cute characters are pretty much done and glued down, I want to put little hangers on the back so I can hang them on the wall. And I wanted to keep this really easy and accessible for most people. So I thought, what better way than to grab some twist ties from the produce section of the grocery store. And I'm just going to use these and some masking tape. These are super lightweight, so I'm not worried about them pulling the tape off the back or being too heavy. So how I make the hanging part, I just take one of the twist ties, I fold it in half like that, and then I spread it apart into a V, and then I fold up the two corners a little bit, just like that. Then I take a piece of tape and then where those little folded edges are, I make sure those are up, and then I put the sticky side of my tape up and I gently slide that under there. And now I am ready to stick it to the back of my piece. So right here looks pretty good. Just put the tape on like you normally would. Give it a good smush around, maybe use your fingernails around the edges of the folded part. You can pull this forward to really get in there. You can kind of adjust it how you want, leave it off the edge a little bit, but now it will hang on the wall when you are all done. So I'm going to go through and add those to the rest of them, and I will show you all of them when they are all complete. Here are all of my completed cardboard cuties. I think that they turned out really cute. They did take a lot longer than I thought they would, but I'm very happy with them, and I'm very excited to find a spot in the art studio to hang them up. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to hang them yet, but I like just seeing my characters just at a glance all the time. They make me happy and feel really good. If you give this project a try, let me know. I would love to see what characters you come up with. But until next time, I hope you have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful day. Goodbye.